That night, the river rose without warning, and the village had only seconds to run. The flood swallowed the only bridge, then tore it apart, trapping the entire village. The current rose above the porches, destroyed the foundations, and began pulling the houses apart. When the last supports broke, the raging current finally carried the entire house away. Those who escaped climbed onto rooftops, holding their families and animals above the water. Local rescuers fought through debris, but the current kept growing stronger. When the power died, the village disappeared, and the rescue continued in total darkness. By sunrise, the storm had passed, but the place they knew was gone. They found photographs, keys, and memories buried beneath layers of mud. They had survived the flood. Now another night was coming, with nowhere safe to sleep. That was when Mega Team reached the valley and saw how little remained. Before making promises, Mega Team brought the last survivors and animals to safety. Food, water, blankets, and medical care bought the village one more night. But the inspection revealed a harder truth. Most homes could never be entered again. A ruined photograph and a broken key made emergency aid feel painfully temporary. So Mega Team chose higher ground and promised a safe container community before the next storm.
Mega began by clearing the largest fallen trees, as trained crews secured each trunk, cut it into controlled sections, lowered the heavy limbs safely, and hauled the timber away, opening the hillside without damaging the surrounding forest or the future construction area. With the heavy timber removed, the crew cut through dense brush and tall grass, pulled out buried roots, and excavated stubborn stumps, combining compact machines with hand tools until the road corridor, home sites, and central foundation area were completely exposed. The cleared hillside was still uneven, so excavators cut down the high ground, bulldozers filled the low areas, and compactors pressed the soil layer by layer, while surveyors checked elevation, drainage, and every footprint until the site became level and stable. Once grading was approved, the road was built from the ground up, beginning with large stones spread across the full route to carry heavy loads, followed by crushed aggregate that filled the gaps and locked the base together, while graders formed the entrance, the central loop, every curve, and the raised road edges. Then rollers compacted each layer in repeated overlapping passes until the entire network became firm, even, properly shaped, and fully ready for the hot asphalt surface. Hot asphalt was spread across the prepared base in even passes, workers shaped the curves and edges by hand, and rollers compressed the surface until the loop road became smooth, dense, and strong enough for construction traffic, service vehicles, and future residents. At the entrance, Mega's crew built the stone bases, raised the timber posts, fixed the overhead beam, installed both flagpoles, and mounted each letter of Mega Rebuild Project on one straight horizontal line, completing the gateway at its exact planned position without changing the road or surrounding layout. With the entrance complete, excavators opened the exact footprint for the community center and prepared the separate bases for every container home, while ground crews removed loose soil, shaped clean edges, checked depth and spacing, and confirmed orientation, drainage, and alignment so every future structure would stand securely on stable ground. Carpenters assembled the formwork around each prepared base, then steel crews positioned the reinforcement cages, tied every crossing, added spacers, braced the sides, and rechecked the corners, dimensions, and elevations, ensuring the foundations would keep their exact shape when the concrete arrived. Concrete trucks filled the forms in sequence as workers guided the flow, vibrated out trapped air, kept the steel centered, leveled the surfaces, finished the edges, and protected the fresh concrete, leaving strong foundations ready beneath every home and the central building. Next, flatbed trucks delivered the used containers one at a time, cranes lifted each heavy unit with certified rigging, and ground crews controlled the movement with tag lines before lowering it onto the correct foundation. Then workers checked level, spacing, and orientation, marked every door and window opening, cut the steel carefully, supported each panel before removal, ground the sharp edges smooth, and welded reinforcement around every new opening. The clean steel was vacuumed, degreased, and masked. Then crews sprayed corrosion-resistant primer across the roofs, seams, corners, frames, and walls in controlled overlapping passes, checking coverage and correcting thin areas until every container was evenly protected. After the primer cured, each home received its assigned finish color across the edges, seams, and broad corrugated walls, followed by a second coat, careful masking removal, and a final inspection that left every container bright, durable, and distinct. Once the paint cured, crews installed the window frames, glass panels, main entrance doors, sliding sections, locks, handles, weather seals, and exterior lights, using shims and concealed fasteners to keep every opening level and square, then sealing the joints, adjusting each moving part, cleaning the glass, and testing every window, door, lock, and light. Covered entrances completed the homes as workers anchored the porch posts, installed the beams and canopy roofs, laid timber decks in straight rows, and built stable entrance steps for every family. With the residential loop finished, Mega reviewed the colorful homes, secure doors, windows, porches, roads, and paths. Then the camera moved toward the empty central foundation, revealing the exact site where the shared kitchen, dining room, and living space would rise next. Construction shifted to the central building, where crews marked the anchors, set the base plates, raised the steel columns, connected the primary beams, installed wall framing, roof trusses, cross bracing, porch supports, and stair structures, while riggers guided every lifted member and installers aligned, bolted, tightened, and checked each joint in sequence until the complete structural skeleton stood securely inside the loop road. Roof crews added waterproof membrane and flashing, then installed standing seam metal panels from the lower edges upward, locking every seam, fitting the trims, and sealing the ridge until the entire building was fully protected. With the roof sealed, workers covered the existing wall frame with weather protection, installed vertical battens, and fixed warm timber cladding board by board across the approved walls, keeping every opening, corner, roofline, and structural dimension exactly unchanged. Separate crews finished the existing porch floor, ceiling, stairs, fascia, and edge trims, while installers applied flashing, positioned the exact black door and window frames inside the existing openings, checked level and square, and secured them without adding new structure. Glazing crews lifted the large glass panels into the prepared black frames, installed the entrance and sliding doors, fitted seals, locks, tracks, and handles, adjusted every moving section, and sealed each perimeter joint until the center was enclosed and weatherproof. Cabinets, counters, sinks, appliances, dining tables, chairs, lounge furniture, and porch seating were delivered in controlled loads, moved inside with dollies, assembled, leveled, connected, and tested, while workers protected the finished surfaces, arranged every item according to the plan, removed packaging, cleaned the glass and floors, and completed the shared kitchen, dining room, and living area. With every building complete, the view widened across the village as landscaping crews shaped the planting beds, added young trees, shrubs, flowers, mulch, and clean edging around the homes, entrance, roads, paths, and community center, bringing color to the previously bare ground. The remaining soil was cleared, leveled, and prepared for grass, then fresh sod was laid in tight staggered rows, trimmed carefully around paths and planting beds, pressed firmly at every seam, rolled flat, and watered until the open ground became a continuous green lawn. Once the lawns were complete, workers marked the planned resting areas, anchored the timber posts, assembled the pergolas beam by beam, placed benches beneath them, added decorative flowers and small garden details, refreshed the mulch, trimmed the hedges, and repaired disturbed grass, finishing the shared outdoor spaces without changing the roads, paths, or building layout. The final cleanup began with crews collecting debris and sweeping the asphalt, curbs, and stone paths from edge to edge, then pressure washing teams removed the remaining dust and mud, guided dirty water toward the drains, cleared standing water, and left every road and walkway clean. From the entrance, Mega reviewed the completed village, where colorful private homes, covered porches, smooth roads, connected stone paths, green lawns, gardens, shaded seating, and carefully placed flowers now formed a safe and organized temporary home for families who had lost everything. At the center stood the shared kitchen, dining room, and living space that would keep the community connected, and what began as a damaged hillside had become a complete temporary village built through careful planning, steady work, and a clear promise of safety, dignity, comfort, and a new beginning.
At last, Mega led 6 displaced families through the gate, where fear gave way to the first real feeling of safety. Inside the community center, Mega placed a key in every household's hands, turning uncertainty into a place they could finally call home. One by one, the families followed the paths home, unlocked their doors, and stepped into the first peaceful rooms they had known in months. Mega showed them the shared kitchen, where clean water, working appliances, and generous counters would let every family cook without fear. Inside the kitchen, the shared dining room offered more than tables. It gave the neighbors a place to share meals, news, and hope. The living room became the village heart, where elders could rest, children could feel safe, and no one would have to face hardship alone. Outside, Mega showed the smooth loop road and stone paths, designed so every home stayed connected, accessible, and safe. Then came a full tour of the homes, each compact, colorful, private, and built to give every household dignity. At the center, Mega reviewed the kitchen, dining room, lounge, and shared facilities designed to keep the entire community together. This village is only temporary, but while you are here, may it bring safety, strength, and a peaceful path toward home. This video tells a fictional AI-created story about rebuilding a safe home for people facing difficult living conditions. All characters, locations, images, and construction scenes in this video were created with AI and edited into a complete story. This is a fictional AI-created story for entertainment and inspiration. It does not show real people or real events, and it is not a fundraising campaign.